You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. It doesn't get any more official than that, folks. When you hear the opera singer delivering the that we hired last week, delivering the Chris Voss Show intro line, you know that you have begun the Chris Voss Show Glow program. It's the Glow program where you get the Chris Voss Show Glow. You come on here for 15 years. We've been bringing you the most smartest people, the billionaires, the astronauts, the White House advisors, the Pulitzer Prize winners, the authors, all the latest crazy books and mind stuff that you can ever want to consume. What is it? 3 to 4 shows a day, 15 to 20 shows a week. And you know what you come out with? The Chris Voss Show Glow. It's this aura that comes off of you, and people just go, my God, you seem to be smarter than ever before, and you just know everything. And you're like, I listen to the Chris Voss Show. So there you go. As always, refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Share the love, because the Chris Voss Show family loves you but doesn't judge you. So share it. Why would you hoard something like that? Gosh, what's wrong with you? No, I don't do that. I'm just kidding. Folks, refer the show, goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss on TikTok, and Chris Voss 1 on TikTok, and the LinkedIn newsletter. Subscribe that as well. We're going to be talking about health today. Health is really important last time I checked. And I learned that the hard way, becoming 55, and my body saying, you know what? We're not dealing with you anymore. We've had enough of you and your drinking and boozing and eating and just all the stuff that you've been doing for 50 years. We're not doing any of that more with you. And so they gave me a eviction notice and my liver and kidney, and said, we're out of here if you don't shape up or ship out and make sure your check's clear. And so I've been working on that for the last while. And we're going to be talking about that today with a young lady who is going to help you understand how to live your life better and not be like me and probably put off all this stuff to your 50. Don't do that, people. And take care of yourself when you're young. Like, seriously, I feel like every drink I've ever had for 20 years these days. Not really, but close enough. Some days, it depends on the day. Christine Boev joins us on the show. She is a doctor, in fact. So as always, like I said, we bring you the smartest people. I'm going to ask her if this looks infected. That's my favorite doctor joke. Just go up to them at parties and go, hey, doc, does this look infective? And they're like, I'm at a party. I'm trying to have a good time. Dr. Boev is a PhD prepared ICU nurse with extreme training. She has extreme extensive training, evidently, too. I'm just adding stuff to people's bios at this point. And experience with health, wellness, fitness, and anti-aging. Her areas of expertise include metabolic health, supplementation, and use of alternative therapies to enhance cellular health. Her goal is to be able to maintain her current aerobic condition, including handstand push-ups, when she's 120 years old. I thought that was pretty outstanding. Welcome to the show, Doctor. How are you?
I'm awesome, Chris. Thanks so much for having me. And I hope to bring some value to your audience and teach them something that they didn't know. And how do we all stay more metabolically healthy as we age? I think, you and I are pretty close in age. And when we can get a handle on that process and really just bring it to a screeching halt, we are going to be able to live until we're 120, and we're going to be able to do all the things that we do right now, as long as we take some really sensible steps in the right direction. And I love that you've been talking about drinking, because I'm not a teetotaler, but you've got to be really thoughtful about what you put in your body, because it will have long-term ramifications as you get older.
And we'll be talking about Ozempic?
Ozempic, yeah.
Ozempic.
So semaglutide, Ozempic, we can talk about that as well. A lot of people are using that as a way to try to lose weight. And again, there's trade-offs with everything. So we can get into that for sure.
There you go. So give us a .com. Where can people find you on the interwebs, follow your work, get to know you better?
The best place to get to know me is on Instagram at Dr. Christine Boev. I'm also on LinkedIn at Christine Boev, and I'm very active in all of those spaces. So feel free to send me a direct message. I love to interact and just bring value to help people live a better life.
And on your Instagram, you're showing people moves to make, exercises to do, giving them tips, and people can tune in and see how to, work out and everything. You've got some before and after pictures as well. And so this is awesome. You can teach people, because people learn through video. I mean, that's how anytime something's broken or I'm working on something, I go, watch it, and I'm like, how does this work again? And then they show me and I'm like, cool. I think it's the greatest way to instruction and plus inspire people as well. So I believe you coach people, you help people. Give us some of the work that you do for other people that people can take advantage of.
Yeah, so I've been able to take my knowledge and expertise in healthcare and really translate that into the personal development world. And what I found is people need a lot of help and guidance in this perspective because there's so much information on there. I think a lot of people want to do the right thing in terms of optimizing their health and wellness. They're just lost. And so really investing in a good personal development coach is important so that you're not wasting a lot of time. I think, in my journey, I got to my early 40s and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, is this the best you got? And the answer was definitely no. I was definitely drinking too much. I was eating just crappy foods. And even though I thought I was athletic and exercising, I was doing all the wrong exercising. So a lot of us love to do mindless cardio on the elliptical. And truthfully, I believe that that's one of the reasons why I ended up storing so much fat and having such a higher percentage of body fat is because you're putting your body in this fight or flight state. We're releasing cortisol. Cortisol tells your brain, right, hey, you better store fat. We're in for a long winter. And so my body fat never changed. And so my big focus is on macronutrients, specifically prioritizing protein because we are very protein deficient. And then for men, women, regardless of your age, you've got to do resistance training. You've got to pick up the weights. And I could really care less at this point when you get started, whether or not you do cardio. And so those are like the starting points. And then we really work with your mindset because a lot of us too, we get in our own head. The biggest obstacle tends to be the person in the mirror. And so really helping people from that standpoint, it's been very, very successful, and I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Plus, the great thing about a coach is having an accountability partner.
Absolutely.
I learned that when I wrote my book. People, having a team around you that, I was actually competing with several other good people for their books, and we'd just try and write an hour a day, and then it just caught fire after we got enough on the page. But having accountability where you're like, I got to check in. I used when I first started going back to the gym about 2 or 3 years ago. I'd never gone to the gym daily in my life for more than a week at a time. And when I started going back to the gym, I started using Facebook, and I would post my hey, I'm at the gym, do the whole location thing and stuff. And I would use that as my accountability program. And then there's when you play that mind game, like you mentioned earlier with yourself, and you do the negotiation where you're like, well, I'll eat a pizza today and I'll make up for it tomorrow on the treadmill. And then you don't, but you do eat the pizza. You need an accountability partner, and knowing that the next day somebody's going to be talking to you going, so what'd you eat yesterday? Makes all the difference in the world. Now, I've seen a lot of my friends getting on Ozempic. And different variations, I guess, of Ozempic, and it's kind of becoming like quite the thing. And I'm suspicious of using a drug to lose weight. What are your thoughts on the risks versus the benefits of considering some of these variations?
Yeah. So I always take the philosophy that there is no magic pill to weight loss.
Mhm.
And for some people who are morbidly obese and about to drop dead, then Ozempic may be a good option for those people. However, what happens, Chris, and you guys need to be really careful about this, is when you start taking these medications, basically what they do is they slow down digestion. So as the food moves through your digestive tract, it moves more slowly. So you feel really full, and that's lovely.
Mhm.
However, the studies at this point have shown that the majority of the weight loss is coming from muscle loss.
Yeah.
And as you get older, guys, it is very difficult to put on muscle. And so the last thing you want to do is take a medication where maybe the scale is moving, but you are losing muscle mass. And muscle mass is the key to longevity. If you want to live a good life and you want to have good quality and you want to be able to move and get up and down on the floor, then you better prioritize building muscle mass versus taking a medication that, yeah, you're going to look different. Your clothes are going to be, feel better, but you've got to lose body fat. And in my opinion, Ozempic is not the way to do that.
Wow. Yeah, it just kind of. I mean, I think it's good for diabetics. I have some friends that have the really bad diabetes because they have some damage that things don't work right with their pancreas or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really helps them. But I think if you're normal, like a lot of these things can be corrected through intermittent fasting, just eating well. It's kind of funny what people will do where they're like, I don't want to stop eating the pizza. Give me a pill.
Well, it's an injection, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
want to be able to eat whatever I want, and I'm going to inject myself once a week with a medication. And the other problem that your listeners need to understand is when you stop taking the medication, your hunger is going to go back to normal
Mm.
and you're going to put all that weight back on. So the smart thing to do would be to work with your doctor, take the medication, but work with a coach so that you are in the gym lifting weights and really prioritizing protein and putting the muscle on. That would be like, if you're like a 500-pounder, right? You should be working with your doctor anyway, but you've got to get in the gym. You've got to pick up the heavy weights. Men, women, you both need to be really strength training and, really challenging yourself. Don't baby it. And, you see people doing this and I'm like, what are you doing? And, working with somebody who has some knowledge in the health and fitness space, because for me, we're all busy. I need to be efficient. Give me the most efficient workout so that I can maximize, my time and my results. That's really what I'm looking for.
It makes all the difference in the world. I mean, you've got to eat right. I often joke, I'm like, hey, you want to lose weight? Yeah, sure. Quit putting stuff in your pie hole.
Yeah, right.
We eat for a winter that never comes. And, I do intermittent fasting most every day, unless I'm a little off. Sometimes I'm a little off or I haven't got enough sleep. But I wake up in the morning. I have a coffee, black, no sugar, about as black as my soul. And I order nice coffee, so I'm not drinking that sugary Starbucks crap. Don't do that, people.
Oh, God, no.
It's awful, nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And I, in fact, order a lot of them off of coffeereview.com. We'll give them a free plug.
Yeah.
And so I buy, more coffee that's rated like 94 or whatever, espresso, whatever, without milk. And then I drink water throughout the day as far as I can. Once I start getting hunger pains, I have I have a tablespoon or two of apple cider vinegar. And it's kind of interesting. That'll take your pains away. And most people don't realize too, a lot of people, they don't hydrate well. They don't drink enough water. And so sometimes when you're hungry, it's not that you're really hungry. It's your body just wants some water. Just wants some stuff. And then once I go, I don't know, an hour or two more after that, I'll start getting, some pangs in my stomach for stuff, or then I'll have some lemon water.
Mm-hmm.
And you can really extend it. There's some rock salt that I'll suck on every now and then. That comes with, it's got minerals in it. It's from one of these old, 100,000-year-old rock salt places around here. And you'd be surprised. Like, I just really don't need to eat. And you feel so much better when you clean all the food out of your system. You don't realize how much energy you're just dealing with your body just to digest and eat all the crap you eat every day.
Well, and also you're optimizing your cellular health, because when you do intermittent fasting, you are encouraging autophagy, which is the
Mm,
recycling of the bad cells from the good cells.
mm,
But one of the things that you mentioned was the hunger pains. Most people in the United States have never actually been hungry, right? But our society refuses to be uncomfortable. So the
mm.
minute that we are faced with any sort of discomfort, we're like, oh, I'm gonna keel over and pass out. No, actually, you're not. Drink some water. I love the strategy of the apple cider vinegar because it's a great digestive,
Mhm.
right? And really allow your digestive system to rest, allow your cells to go through that process of cleaning.
Mhm.
And that's why you feel better. That's why you have more energy. And then when you do eat, eat something that is balanced and sensible,
Yeah.
right?
Don't go for the pizza.
No. And
Do
then
the
I'm
lasagna.
assuming you feel better, right? When you're
Yeah.
fasting. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
And I do it every day. I don't do
Yeah.
this. I can't do this. These people that do these diets where I don't know. You may have a different opinion than I do, but I'm not a fan of the cheat days.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much BS. So I try and intermittent fast every day. It's not a fast. It's not like we're doing this for 2 months. This is a lifestyle. And I've
Absolutely.
been doing it for years, and I'm not perfect. Some days I just don't feel like doing it, and I go fuck it. But what I do shove in my pie hole is like a salad. Like I buy salads from local farms. Sometimes might eat one of their nice cookies they make over there, but I try and eat well as I possibly can, and then I just try and go as far as I can. I don't really make it like a law or anything. I just kind of start eating when I feel like eating. Sometimes I've tried to do 20 or 24-hour fasts, but the consistent thing is just make it a lifestyle. Eat right, go to the gym, work out, take care of your health. It's interesting. You talked about protein balance. That's something I've been trying to dial in lately with myself and intermittent fasting. I was thinking that, with intermittent fasting, I was really leaning myself out for protein, and I don't think getting a protein in during my time of eating. What are some of your thoughts on that? I mean, I guess there's a basic amount people need to eat of protein a day.
Yeah, so I think when you do fast, you have to be really strategic in terms
Mm,
of getting your protein in. So you should shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. So
mm,
if you have access to maybe an in-body scale, it does an analysis of your fat versus muscle versus bone versus fluid. It'll
mm,
give you a calculation of your true lean body mass. But I don't know how much you weigh, but you're looking at a decent amount of protein in a compressed feeding window. So you just have to
mm,
be strategic. And also the size of your stomach is smaller because you're not stretching and expanding as much.
mm.
So you might want to think about getting, in addition to like whole food sources. So I love collagen protein
Yeah.
in my drinks. There's a lot of ways to sneak it in so
Mm,
that you are, because Chris, we all need to build muscle, and
yeah.
protein is the foundation of putting some muscle on our body, on our skeletal muscle system. And that's going to be the key to longevity, so that you and I can meet again when I'm 120 and just be cognitively on top of things and feeling really good.
Does that mean I'll be 140 and I'll have to be the host when you're 120? Oh,
I'm actually only about 5 years younger than you, so we're
are you?
good. We
Well,
got we got a lot of good years
I
ahead
was
of us.
trying to give you a buffer there. You should have ran with.
I know. I'm okay. I'm
There you
totally
go.
fine with
I
my
mean,
age.
you look like you're about 30 the way you're going. You're
Oh,
kicking ass
I
and
love
taking
you.
names.
I love you.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, and hopefully I'll show up in bikini too.
You
For the
should.
thing.
A nice
Um,
Speedo.
Yeah, I'm thinking. You ever seen that one horror TV show, Tales from the Crypt? And there's that guy they prop up. He's like, he's like been dead for 500 years. That's probably what I'm going to look like in the chair as the host.
I don't know. I think we could probably fix that.
As long as
But
I'm still funny, that's all that matters.
I mean, you're definitely still going to be funny. But I also wanted to go back to what you mentioned about it's not the outcome, but it's really being obsessed with the process.
Hmm.
People focus way too much on like, okay, what is my goal? What am I trying to do? Well, you're trying to live a long life, right? I'm trying to not break a hip or a knee, but become really obsessed with the process and of working out and meditating and eating right and doing your cold plunge and your sauna and all of that stuff. Be obsessed with that. People are just way too focused on the outcome, And then they quit. They're like, oh, I got to my goal. Now I'm going to go back to my shitty lifestyle. And it just makes zero sense.
And they put all the weight right back
They put
on.
it back on. It's insane.
Or I love, like I said, hearing about people's cheat days. Cheat day. They you're like, so you starved yourself all week, eh? What'd you do on your cheat day? Oh, we went to the buffet.
Right.
And I ate 5,000 calories, and we just wrecked it. And you're like, your body is just like going, what the fuck are you doing to me?
Yeah. Your body hates you.
Your body hates you. You talked about collagen, which is an interesting thing. I didn't start dealing in taking lots of collagen stuff till I think about a year ago. And I started supplementing my diet with collagen and I believe copper you have to take with it, don't you? To get it mixed well. And then I just started something recently with my journey that I've been going on. We talked about we talked about taking protein, but also collagen type protein. I recently bought nakednutrition.com is one of the people I love. They're going to get a free plug, and we reviewed them on the show, but I buy like all their products. So they owe me a check, Naked. But nakednutrition.com, they have a naked bone broth. And one of the reasons I love their products is they're just the basics. There's not a bunch of junk in them. They're clean as hell. They're just the basics of what you need. Everything's exposed and how they do stuff. It's not like you don't read the label and there's like, what is all this other, crap that's in here? But I recently started taking bone broth, and I think bone broth protein is good for you because of the collagen. Is that true?
Right. So collagen exists in your bone, your tendons, your cartilage. And so when you make a nice organic bone broth, you're getting the protein and the collagen together. So I would alert people to be careful of the quality of the collagen. You don't want to get some cheap, version. I like to get it from grass-fed cows and just a really high quality collagen. But you've probably noticed that when you start taking it, like your beard is very lush, your hair, your skin, your nails really kind of glows when you take collagen. And it is the building block for all of your muscles, your tendons, your joints. And so it's a great protein source. If you're not taking collagen, you definitely should at least think about it.
Yeah. Women should definitely take it too. I mean, they have long hair and they like all their nails and everything to be pretty. I think I notice it. Is there too much collagen you can take in a day? Or should you be taking a certain amount?
Typically, one serving is about 18 grams of protein, and it's got your full complement of your 20 amino acids. And unless you have, now here's your asterisk, unless you have kidney disease, right? If you have kidney disease, then it's harder for your body to process all of that protein. But if you have healthy functioning kidneys, got a good blood pressure, then you should be fine. I typically take 2 servings a day, which is about 36 grams of protein from collagen a day. My goal per day is about 140 grams of protein. So I get, about, I don't know, a little 20% of that is from collagen. And you can tell the difference. Your skin is glowy, your hair, your nails, everything just kind of flows better. Some of my clients say they have less joint pain when they are being strict with their collagen. So for you with your intermittent fasting, the bone broth is an excellent choice because then you're getting the protein and the collagen and, all of those delicious, nutritious elements that aren't going to tax your digestive system.
There you go. I take I actually mix it up. So I don't know if this is good or not. But I recently started that beef protein collagen stuff. Now I do take a straight collagen too on top of that. I'll usually mix throughout the day. I'm kind of mixing a few different things. One of my problems is I have lactose intolerance. And if you want to find out what a body does when it puts nuclear waste inside of it, give me milk, or at least A1 milk. I've since found out about A2 milk and been loving it, but unfortunately a lot of products are made with A1 milk, which has a lot of lactose. So I had to switch to goat protein. So I take goat milk protein, and then I also have a seed protein that I take, and that has a lot of the healthy seeds that you need to take as well.
Mhm.
And then there's another protein I'm taking, which is an egg protein.
Mm.
And so I actually take all 4 throughout the day. So there's like a variant I'm feeding myself. I tried pea protein, but I don't know, man. I don't know if that really does anything.
Yeah. That's, our friends that are vegans, they really have to rely on the pea protein.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're getting a decent amount of protein throughout the day from different sources. A lot of people don't do well with lactose.
Yeah.
If you're taking in lactose and you're noticing you're bloated, you're gassy, your skin starts to break out, those are just clear signs that it's not agreeing with you, and you should try to go
Mhm.
for alternative sources of fuel.
Yeah, you really need to manage your gut health too. That's
Oh,
another important thing with losing weight. Do you want to talk about that? How
yeah.
important gut health? And if you piss off your bowel system with lactose or other things you're eating that are really bad for you, you go to McDonald's, you come back, and you wonder why your gut hurts. It's trying to tell you something.
Absolutely. So I've become obsessed with gut health and your gut microbiome because it is the center of your immunity.
Mhm.
I don't normally get sick, and I feel like that's because I'm really purposeful in feeding and fertilizing my gut with what it needs. I use a product called Viome, Biome. I don't know
Mhm.
if you've tried this. I highly recommend it. You send off a little sample of your stool. They will tell you everything that is inside of your microbiome. And then you're going to get a list of, here are the foods that are like your superpower foods, and here are your kryptonite foods. And so
Mm.
unfortunately, one of my kryptonite foods is coffee, and I like coffee.
Really?
So yeah, I
Oh
know, isn't that
man.
crazy? But everybody's different. Like yours, Chris, would be totally different than mine in terms of the foods that I should eat, like raspberries, apricots are all on the top of my list. But then there's things like lobster and coffee that I really should avoid.
Oh
Now, I'll be
really?
honest, I still
Huh?
drink coffee because I just like it that much.
It's
Um,
coffee, damn it. You can't.
oh,
That's the
so
source of life right there.
good.
People
And
die
then
if I
there's
don't have coffee.
Yeah, and then there's certain like supplements that you can take to grow your gut. So
Yeah.
polyphenols, green tea,
Mhm.
curcumin, resveratrol, but everybody's different. So that's a great way to get a profile of like what's going on in your gut, what does it need to really be healthy, and how can you try to up your immunity, because nobody wants to be sick right now.
And does it give you feedback on testosterone or estrogen for men and women?
No, that would be a blood test, which I
Mm.
strongly recommend. Again, if regardless of your age, men's testosterone starts to decrease when you're 30.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out what that's supposed to look like. But I get my labs comprehensively drawn every 6 months.
Really?
And oh, yeah. And I
That's
look
why you're
at,
you're looking good and holding up well.
well, thank you. But like the
Yeah.
minute I start to look like I'm going into menopause or perimenopause, I am going to start hormone replacement. I have no interest in dealing with any of that.
Mm.
And you do that under the supervision of a physician.
Mhm.
But, testosterone replacement for men shouldn't be this taboo subject. There's no reason why you shouldn't explore how do you optimize your testosterone levels so that you live longer.
Yes. Yes. And there's a lot of stuff we've been doing on the show. We learned about estrogenics. That's one of the books I always
Mhm.
recommend that's on the show. Taking, all these parabens and different things, these
Yes.
estrogenics that are in our soaps and everything else. I went to this. Thank God I have people like you on the show that to give me a front row seat, and our audience a front row seat. People refer the show to your family, friends, relatives. And I learned so much stuff, and so I started switching out my soaps and detergents to
Mhm.
non-parabens, and there's a few other estrogenics that are in it. And if you want to see the show, folks, search estrogenics on the Chris Voss Show search bar. And I was kind of like, I'm always kind of skeptical. I'm a skeptic. I was raised in a cult, so I'm kind of skeptic about everything. And so I was like, yeah, okay, parabens. And I didn't understand. I was taking my old shampoos and my old soaps, and and so I put them aside for a while, and I used the new soaps that were recommended without the estrogenics in it. And then I ran out. Like I think I ran out
Mm.
of my shampoo, and I was like, oh crap! And for some reason, it wasn't available quite, exactly when you need it on Amazon. It's going to take an extra day. And I'm like, well, I got these old soaps here and these shampoos. I'll just use that. I felt like someone had taken my hands and my skin and dipped it into wax. Ever had that feeling? And you pull it out and you're encased
Yeah.
in wax. That's what it felt like. And I was like, my hair was all greasy. And I was like, what the hell did I just do? And that's what all those parabens and wax, and because a lot of it's wax, like, people don't even realize that, like, those dryer sheets you throw in the dryer, all they do is they just wax your clothes. They don't make them softer. They just feel softer because they put a wax on your clothes. So you're just rubbing wax all over yourself. And I wash my hands and arms about 4 or 5 different times, and I could not get it off. It was insane. And that's when I learned, I'm like, holy crap, this stuff does make a difference in what you're doing. But yeah, testosterone, estrogen for women is really important as well. But I take a bunch of supplements that are supposed to jack up my testosterone. I take some different things like pomegranate and other things that are supposed to jack me up. I got to go have my testosterone check. I think we're going to do that this week or next, because I want to make sure it's high, even though of everything I've been doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you fall off the cliff. And I think a lot of people ignore it when they hit menopause or they hit my age as men. They ignore it. I can ride this out, right?
Well, they accept that, like, this is what happens when you get old. And I reject that. I don't feel like you have to decline as you get older. There's so much good science now, and there's so many strategies that we can use to really resist aging at every turn. So optimizing your hormones is one thing. And going back to the parabens, especially if you're a man, if you are allowing your body to come in contact with these parabens, the waxy thing is one thing, but also you're going to end up with man boobs and you're going to have trouble having an erection. And so why would you want to live like that? Like, when you're 120, you should be in excellent sexual health as well as physical health. Otherwise, what's the point of staying alive?
Yeah. Man boobs aren't fun. Boobs.
Nobody wants.
I mean, I've lost 100 pounds, and when you can meet women and be like, I got bigger boobs than you, it's not cool. It's not a cool man thing. No, not at all. Plus, you want everything to work out in the bottom half there. Now that I'm 55, I'm starting to, for some reason, I'm hitting this dating period where I can date young. And the kind of the rule for men is you half your age and add 7 years. That seems to be a good flow for me. And thank God I kind of changed all my stuff. But there seems to be this thing going on where I have older women hitting on me. And I kind of get it because, I mean, do you want to date the guy who plays shuffleboard all day and has to change the diaper? Or do you want to date me? That's a mean joke, Chris. But I get it, plus, I look like Brad Pitt and George Clooney combined. Making sure those pumps work and all that lower stuff evidently is like a thing for women. Like, that's one of the things they want you to know when you get older. They're like, do you need Viagra? And do you need, is all the toys, bells, and whistles working? Yeah. And it's really important to me. I watched my dad suffer younger with prostate cancer, or prostate problems. He needed to go get the surgery done, and he wouldn't get it done. And I think he lived his life a little bit different than mine. And so he was having massive issues at my age, and I've been really lucky that I haven't had any problems so far, knock on wood. But yeah, this is something people need to work about. If your gut health is in place, your body health is in place, it's kind of funny how all that stuff, you do legs, that helps generate testosterone. So testosterone is low. Do women have to do exercise to generate estrogen like men do?
No, but testosterone is really important for women as well. So I get my total and free testosterone monitored along with all of my other estrogen labs and progesterone, because you can't put on muscle as a woman if you don't have testosterone as well. So it's just as important. We don't talk about it as much for women, but it's just as important. So when you next week get your testosterone checked, make sure you get your free and your total. And then, like, really think about ways to optimize. Because like you said, a good leg workout, like, don't squat before you get your labs checked because they'll be elevated falsely. But, don't do that. But yeah, you really want to think about that. And back to the sexual health part,
Mhm.
you've got to feel comfortable talking about sexual function. And, as you're dating. Now, did you make up this half of your age plus 7? I've never heard that before.
No, it's actually fairly
It's a thing?
common. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a thing.
interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you want to be able to have those conversations, because if you're impotent, you might not
Yeah.
be a great guy to date, right?
Yeah. Well, women date up, and so they'll date
Yeah.
up usually 5 to 10 years. Men date down normally. I mean, there's exceptions to the rule. I mean, if you find somebody you like and age doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But men date down. I learned this in junior high when I was trying to date all the juniors and sophomores, and they're like, nope, we only date the seniors. They have cars.
Unless you're Cher. I think she's like 70 and her boyfriend's 30, which God bless her.
Yeah, that's kind of a reverse money thing.
Interesting,
that's
right?
a reverse male money thing. Yeah. She's gonna date guys who want money. It's kind of like Britney Spears. Bless her heart. She's stuck with these kind of loser grifter dudes. But if you have money, that's what's gonna happen. You get grifters.
Yeah.
But so men date down. We can date down 10, 15 years. We like femininity, so that's kind of our operative that we are after in our bio. It's just something we like. So we like youth. We like femininity, and it's but yeah, it's interesting to me in talking to some of my gal pals who are older, and how one of the things they have to ask on first dates, or try and sly out of people, is it passively is does the plumbing work? And really, that's one of the things that it's one of your things. So I've been sitting around going, hey, I need to make sure and get the testosterone right, get the diet right, lose the weight, get the health right, work out, because I want to be able to, be cruising for a bruise in the rest home, be dating everybody there at the rest home when I'm 80 or when I'm 120, so when you come back on the show.
And blood pressure, right? You need to make sure that your blood pressure is optimized so that you've got good blood flow to all your organs.
Yeah, that's probably important too, because you got to get blood there. I've been lucky. I haven't had to ever take the Viagra. I don't. I'm dreading the day when I might have to take the Viagra. But
you know what though? I think it's okay. I don't think there's so much stigma around testosterone and Viagra and all the other ones, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
As long as you can have a healthy sexual relationship, who cares if you need to take a pill before you have sex?
That's true.
I just don't think it matters. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, there you go. So now you talk about lipid panels. Is that what we mentioned before with the Viome? Is that the same thing? Okay, so what is that?
Yep. So Viome is stool. So you send a stool sample off and they examine that. Your lipid panels is your cholesterol, your HDL, your LDL. And the one that you really want to look at is your apolipoprotein B. And that is an assessment of the amount of atherosclerotic plaque in your arteries. Because what we've found is your total cholesterol isn't really a great measure of how much plaque is inside of your arteries, more so than your apolipoprotein B. They just call it ApoB. Make sure that when you get your labs done, that gets checked along with everything else, because LDL and HDL, it's very old science, and it doesn't give you a great measure of what's going on with your cardiovascular health. So your HDL tends to be higher. That's your high density lipoprotein. If you're very active, if you're very athletic, they call it the good cholesterol, which is kind of a misnomer. And the higher, the better, right? And then you've got your LDL, your low density lipoproteins, which they call that the bad cholesterol. It's actually not bad. Cholesterol is the foundation of all your hormones. You've got to have it. And then there's different kinds of LDLs that we don't test for. So check your ApoB, make sure that number is appropriate. Every lab range is going to be a little bit different, but I check mine every 6 months. And, I really work on that cardiovascular health, monitoring your blood pressure, making sure that your cholesterol is acceptable. I take a lot of like fish oil and krill oil supplements. When I talk to clients, I say it keeps your blood slippery, right? You want to keep your blood nice and slippery so that
Is that
you
what
don't
it does?
Yeah.
Makes your blood slippery? Okay.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
you don't clot, so you don't end up with a stroke.
Blood.
Yeah, nice slippery blood is what you're looking for. And so like fish oil and krill oil are really easy ways to supplement and do that kind of thing.
Don't slip on my blood, eh?
That's right.
That's what we say around here on Fridays when we break when we get the axe out. I don't know what that means, people. I didn't do it. That's all I'm saying. That's really interesting. I never thought of it that way. But yeah, what about vitamin D? Is that important?
Yeah.
Is that something you recommend to your clients? Getting a good vitamin D, either supplement or I actually started something. You mentioned you'd listen to some of the prior episodes. I actually started something when winter ended and spring ended began this year, where I go out every morning with my coffee and sit for 15 minutes out in the sun. And sometimes I take my shirt off if I feel like I need some extra vitamin D juice. And thankfully I have a fence so my neighbors don't call the police. And my dogs love it. They're like, Granddad's outside with us. So there's kind of some quality time they get there. And sometimes I'll read like Stoicism meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And so there's kind of a mindful peace thing going on too. It's kind of a little meditation, if you will, but getting that vitamin D. And I kind of find that I really enjoy getting the sun vitamin D more than I enjoy the supplements.
Yeah. So I do both. I think going out in the sun in the morning there's so many like good reasons to do that, but the sun rays that penetrate through your eyes help with your circadian rhythm. So you're actually helping. Yeah, you're helping your sleep cycles when you get up and get that sunlight first thing in the morning. But I live in Rochester, New York. So right now you can't even see the sun. It's covered by 1,000 miles of clouds. So I do take a vitamin D supplement. I take it year round, but I also get my vitamin D levels checked every 6 months to, make sure I'm not overdoing it. But I do a combination of vitamin A, D, and K put together. And those are your fat soluble vitamins. And, they're really important for longevity. Vitamin D helps to regulate your mood. We can talk about mental health and how that's all related to physical health and nutrition, but it's all connected. So check your vitamin D levels. But if you're in the Northeast or Canada or any place like that, like you really need to think about supplementing because you're probably not getting enough sunlight.
Yeah. And some people don't take enough vitamin D either, or they don't take it with the K, which you really need to do to mix it, just like the collagen with the copper. Like for a lot of times, I didn't know these were combinations you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what do you think about? I didn't really monitor this or deal with it, but one thing I was having was lots of problems between magnesium and potassium, and I didn't realize you're supposed to be getting almost 5,000 milligrams or grams or whatever of potassium per day. Is that true? I don't know.
It's usually in potassium is usually in milliequivalents.
Okay.
I think we need to be really careful with potassium. I personally don't supplement with potassium because it's prevalent in so many of your foods, like your fruits, your vegetables, bananas, tomatoes, citrus fruits, right? You've got a lot of potassium there. And potassium is the substance they inject people that are on death row. So you've got to be cautious with potassium, and especially if your kidneys don't work well. You want to kill somebody, give a renal failure patient potassium, and they're not going to survive.
Oh, geez.
Magnesium, however, is probably like if I had to pick one supplement that I could not live without, it's probably magnesium. And I take that every night for a couple reasons. There's different forms of magnesium. There's oxide, acetate, citrate, like you name it. There's a bunch of them. I take a combo and it helps you sleep. It's a central nervous system depressant. I've had some issues with heart palpitations, and so the magnesium oxide is what helps with that.
Oh, really?
And then it also helps keep you regular in terms of your bowel movement. You've taken too much magnesium because you're going to end up with diarrhea. So you just will. So if you're constipated at all, like magnesium is a great supplement to take at night, and you'll wake up, you'll have a nice bowel movement, you'll have good sleep, and it just helps your whole central nervous system just kind of calm down.
Awesome sauce. Yeah, magnesium is, I can't live without magnesium either. If I don't get magnesium, my whole bowel system dries up into basically a load of dried concrete. And it goes, have fun with that, buddy.
Yeah, and then you're going to have hemorrhoids to push all that concrete out. You're going to have a mess down there, Chris.
Yeah, well, I figured it out. You know, it figured out, and I finally got my balance right. I have to take a certain amount in the morning, a certain amount at night. I figured out a way to balance it so that my body seems to have a continuum. But man, if I go off it, if I skip things, or I'm like, did I take that today? And it actually sits like right by my desk, because it's like first thing in the morning. There you go. Get in the body with the water. And so, you know, these are important. One thing you talk about is an ideal proportion of macronutrients for clients. I know we're going long here, but there's a lot of good stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
What are macronutrients? And is that in my Doritos?
Yeah, sadly it is. So yeah, macronutrients are fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, the foundation of all of the fuel. I call it fuel because I think of myself as a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, and I have got to put the best possible fuel inside of my body to make it run.
Some people think of themselves as a Yugo.
No. We are exotic sports cars, right? And we've got to really treat our bodies with the type of fuel that we need. So we all need to have more protein, all of us. We don't eat enough protein. And so, as I mentioned before, 1 gram per pound of lean body mass is a great starting point. And then carbs have been villainized for so long, and it couldn't be more false. Carbohydrates do not make you fat. Processed foods, fake foods, high fructose corn syrup, that makes you fat. If you're eating out of a package or a bag or anything with a barcode, you need to really think about what you're eating, right?
I love that analogy. Don't eat out of anything that's a package or a bag that has a barcode. That sounds like a rule to live by. You should put that on a shirt.
I really should. Yeah. And then fats, you know, people love keto and all this other stuff. You don't need a ton of fat. Most of us have plenty of it. You know, you've got your essential fatty acids that are required for nutrition. But if you focus on protein and good carbohydrate sources, so potatoes, rice, vegetables, and fruit, those are your good carbs. You know, your fruits taste sweeter when you're not getting your sugar from fake sources. Then, you know, you just look at that. And so what I do with my clients is I say, all right, what are your goals? What are we trying to achieve here? And most people, it's lose fat, gain muscle. And then we do an analysis of your lean body mass. Okay, what proportions of fats, carbohydrates, and proteins are specific for you, right? And how do you function? And then we make a plan based on that. And the nice thing about, you know, following macros is there, like you said, there's no cheat days. You work your fuel into the parameters that you have. And I always tell my clients, if you have a special occasion coming up and your grandma's making homemade lasagna, then is it worth it? Okay, great. It's worth it. Let's figure that out. So in the daytime, you're just really eating protein so that you've got those carbohydrates kind of saved for later. So that this is a lifestyle. This isn't like a program or any of that. It's a lifestyle. And I also want to go back to this notion of, you know, cheat days. There's too many occasions, right? Yesterday, I don't know if you knew this, was National Pasta Day.
Oh, yeah. Right? Well, you got to celebrate that. Yeah.
And pasta's fine, right? If it fits your macros. But there's always something. There's always an occasion. There's Thursday night football, Monday night, every weekend. And then your weekends start on Wednesday and they end on Sunday. And then you've got 2 days of the week to try to get your shit together. Like, you've got to stop that whole notion of, oh, but it's, you know, it's taco day or it's taco Tuesday.
Well, it's Tuesday. You got to do taco
you
Tuesday.
Know, like, I don't care.
That's a law, I think. I'm pretty sure. But no, you're right. I mean, we have all these ways to distract ourselves and excuses. And like I said, the easiest way I learned to do it with going to the gym and also eating right is you just make a lifestyle. Quit fucking around. That's my shirt. Absolutely. That's my t-shirt. That's my hat. Quit fucking around. Just do it. And, You've got to embrace the fact too that you're not 20 years old. You're not burning your fat, like crazy. You're not putting out, making all this collagen like people do when they're young. And it doesn't get better. You're going to age more. Your body's going to slow down. It's going to happen. And so you've got to make it a lifestyle choice because it will get better for you if you eat well.
Right.
I do so well right now. And, one of my habits is I'm blessed to be in an area where we have farms. And there's actually a really great one I discovered that I've been living close to for a few years now. And it's literally 4 blocks from me. I go over there every morning. I went before the podcast, and they're a bio, they're a water farm, engineered farm, whatever it's called. Basically, they don't have some of the farm is outside, but they have a whole huge indoor farm for bioproponics. It's proponics. It's right on that. Hydroponics. There we go.
There you go.
Hydroponics. But they have an indoor farm, so it runs year round, whether there's snow on the ground and stuff like that. And it's all locally sourced foods. It's all fresh off the vine, if you will. And I got to tell you, man, you eat some of their peaches or nectarines, all of their vegetables and veggies that they have, even the lettuce and stuff that I get from them just looks so vibrant. Like you look at it and you go, oh, I want to eat this. I go and look at the lettuce and the greens at the store, and I'm like, it looks like it's dead. And it usually dies faster too when I bring it home than the stuff I buy at the farm. So I highly recommend, you want your body to love you. My body loves me more now than ever before, and it still wants me to work on some things, but just eating right, taking care of yourself, exercising just makes all the difference.
Well, and I'll just add one more thing to that. As you put more muscle on your frame, you're increasing your metabolism. So instead of just accepting that your metabolism slows down as you get older, if you combat that with adding skeletal muscle mass to your frame, your metabolism isn't going to slow down. If anything, you're just fueling better. So really prioritizing putting muscle on is going to help you live longer. I promise you.
Awesome sauce. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. So final thoughts and pitch as we go out, Christine, for people to sign up with you and work with you, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so I'm really looking for people who are motivated and ready to change. You really have to be in the mindset that you're done living the way you've been living and you're ready to embrace just some sensible change and some tough love. I'm not a cupcake. I really do challenge my clients to work harder and to embrace being uncomfortable. And if you do what I'm telling you to do, it's impossible not to see results. And there's nothing gimmicky about it. You just have to put the hard work in. And if you do that and follow a plan that is individualized to your goals, then, you're going to be successful. It's exciting. I want people to live longer. I want people to be better. I'm sick of mediocrity.
There you go. And you're so right. And it helps to hire a professional. I wish, looking back on all I've been on this journey now for all these years, I'd hired professionals. It's been kind of hit and miss trying to figure stuff out, sometimes the hard way, and what works and doesn't. And, years ago when I started losing weight, I'd read, who was it? Penn Jillette's book. And I think it was called Presto, where he lost 100 pounds. And I basically used his formula and then got to know Cray Ray that he writes about in the book. And, but beyond that, I thought it was so simple, and there's so much. It's very complicated what you have to go through. Like if you were to come to my house and see my diet vitamin supplement wall, it literally is a freaking wall of supplements and formulas and everything. I'm starting to feel like that guy who spends $2 million a year.
Listen, do what you got to do. And we didn't even talk about heat and cold therapy.
Oh, really?
So many strategies that can just change your life.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, Doc. Give us your .coms one more time so people can find you on the interwebs.
And if you go to Instagram, it's at Dr. Christine Boev, or LinkedIn, just Christine Boev.
There you go. BOEV. The. Very easy
Yes,
to do,
sir.
people, for those of you listening in the audience. To my audience, thank you for tuning in. This is the stuff you learn. We've talked about so much great stuff. We could probably do 3 hours on the show, but you guys probably leave to go to the office eventually as you're driving the car. Refer to show your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com /Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com /Chris Voss, YouTube.com /Chris Voss, and Chris Voss 1 on the tickety-talkety. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And remember, there'll be a test on these shows on the weekend. And we'll see you guys next time.